The first thing I'm going to drop in is the if-else statement. Now notice that I'm setting up the statement without actually dropping in the data. You don't need to do things exactly the same as me, of course, but I like to create the framework first and then populate it with the necessary data. This simply helps prevent me from making any mistakes because it's very methodical. The condition goes inside the parentheses, the action goes inside the curly brackets, and the else, the actions that are going to execute if this is not satisfied, are going to go here. So we drop in the target path, which in this case is simply rectangle, or more accurately, if this dot rectangle, and then the property. So we put a dot, underscore, and alpha, and then two equal signs. Remember, the double equal sign is a question. We're asking it if it equals 100. And an even better way is to ask if it's less than 100. Because if it's less than 100, we know that it still needs to be incremented. Even the else action will execute. So if the rectangle alpha is less than 100, we're going to increment it. And again, we've covered this before. We're going to go this dot rectangle dot underscore alpha, and then the little increment function, plus sign, equal sign, 2. And for this one, again, we need a semicolon. So what's going to happen here? The first thing, we check to see if the alpha is less than 100. If it is, we add 2 to it. And then we check again. As soon as the alpha gets over 100 or equal to 100, we then want to delete this onEnterFrame. This is what I was talking about before. Deleting them is very, very important. So all we have to do is type here, delete this dot onEnterFrame. And that should be it. Let's have a look and see if it works. Control and test movie. Aha, it doesn't, because the alpha of this rectangle is already at 100. And this is a common mistake. All we have to do is use the Properties panel and set the color to alpha 0. Now let's try it. Control and test movie. And there we go. Our rectangle slowly fades in. As soon as the alpha of the rectangle reaches 100, the onEnterFrame function deletes itself. Now, this was a very simple example. All we did was fade in a rectangle. But think about the onEnterFrame function for a little bit and see if you can think of any other applications for it. I'm going to supply one. Imagine a situation where we have a line and we want the line to grow. We want it to look like it's being drawn across the screen. All we have to do is take the onEnterFrame function and then gradually increment the width of that line. As soon as it gets to where we want it, we delete the onEnterFrame and the line will stay there. This whole onEnterFrame business is taking us right to the edge of making the step into more advanced Flash topics. So I'm going to leave you with it. We're going to now move on to the next lesson.